Okay, so some tips on getting the RAMBAR. This thing's on fisheye. My arm doesn't look that funky. When you get it up on the bedsides, I think it's a little bit easier doing this way than trying to use the template. Let's see. For some reason, they say that this is inside the bed. Sorry for the sunlight. This is inside the bed. You have that open hole up front where the one bolt goes in through with the big, like a 2-inch washer. And then up above it, well, here's the template. Tells you to drill that hole right there. But the kit doesn't come with a bolt that's supposed to go in it. Or at least this one doesn't. And it's kind of just for alignment purposes, but you know, there's no bolt that goes in it. I wouldn't recommend putting a hole in it in the bedside, because it's one less hole you gotta worry about rusting. So what I do is I get it pretty, this hole for that one with the 2-inch washer, pretty centered on the existing hole in the bedside. And then up on top, I take my punch and I punch right in the center of all those holes, and that's where I'm gonna drill for the top bolts to hold the side of the RAMBARs. And then that thing's good, that's good. That side's up. Yeah, so I think that's a little bit easier than trying to do a template. And then we'll keep moving along here. Also, what else I found to be easy, here's that one big old bolt with, the big old washer. So that one's gonna go right here, and that covers up that hole. But I have a bolt in that one right now, but I don't think you're supplied with the bolt that's supposed to go in there. I think it's kind of like a guide hole, but you really don't, I don't know. I didn't see any need for it. You're just putting another hole in the bedside when all you need is that guy with the washer. Get that thing centered, and then that's how you line up the other side centered, and then that way you get these where they need to be exactly without using that template. And then also if you center it there and center it on that guy over here, your bar is going to be in line. Supposed to be. And also you have to cut these pockets off of the plastic railing protectors. And what I found easy to do, instead of trying to use like a Dremel or something that could potentially go down and scratch the bedside, I took this utility knife and just kind of go a little bit at a time. Don't try to go all the way through it at once. It's pretty soft, so you can just kind of go, just continue to keep going like this, and you'll eventually cut through it, and then kind of work the edges a little bit, and same all the way around, and then eventually you can just pop it up, and it looks pretty good. The blade slipped here, but you're going to be covering it with the RAMBAR anyways, and you won't even see it. But instead of trying to go all the way through at once or using a Dremel and scratching the paint, just slowly work your way into the pretty soft plastic. And it's been sitting in the sun all day, so the plastic was kind of soft. That helped. So maybe if it's cold, you could use a heat gun or a hair dryer to get that plastic to soften up. So once you have your holes drilled, you're gonna need to assemble this thing on the ground outside of the truck, or off the truck. For some reason, this guy's kit did not come with all of the bolts, so I do not recommend using the company he bought it from. I don't know the name of it, but I had to go to Home Depot, get some I think they're 12.9s, some Allen metric bolts to go in the top, just because you're probably not gonna see these as much as, say, you'd see the ones that they're supposed to come with, which is the Allen bolt with like the flanged Allen bolt. These ones I had to go with a washer. Anyways, you slip those 2 sleeves inside the rubber part and then thread bolts in lightly, and then we're gonna pick it up and put this guy up on top. I have the bottom pieces already bolted on, so those are just gonna slip down in that hole, and we got our holes drilled on that side, our holes drilled over here, and we're gonna get this sucker on there. Papitos. Hey. Bingo. Make sure you had your Wheaties this morning. Our pal. Hey. Chicken's chasing our ducks. Yeah, so get those set up there. Holes already good to go. I'm gonna put that fat washer in that guy. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this hole because there's no bolt to put in it. I'm gonna figure that out. Either put some black vinyl here and cover that hole, or I'll find a black bolt. Super lame. I don't get it. See, these are the ones his kit only came with 2, 4, 6, 8 when there needs to be 16. So I'm missing an entire other set to do the top. And they tell you to drill that hole, which makes no sense because there's no bolt. They don't provide you with a bolt that goes in there. So we're lined up centered there, so that's perfect. Lined up centered there, so that's perfect. And we got our holes and our wild chicken. So judging from this gap and that gap, we're pretty in line and even. And now what I'm gonna do is, since we've got it all done, I'm gonna make sure that it's a little crooked, but that's okay. We're gonna cause those top bars to push those out. So then that will essentially level that up a little bit better on the bedside. So I'm gonna work on that next here. Okay, so once you get it all set up here, bolts dropped in, this is what I would do. I mean, I'm no RAMBAR expert, but I would cinch these bolts down on the front of these guys going down this pillar here on both sides. That way it will pull on the bar, it will pull it in, which will cause this to kind of want to rock back a little bit. I'm gonna have to try to get some more of that gap there to disappear. There's not a whole lot, but tighten that down, it will kind of lever it back, and then tighten these guys down. I haven't tightened them down yet. I just want to get them in the holes and make sure they're going to fit. And then once you get those tightened, then I would go through the upper part and take one bolt out at a time, red Loctite it. You're supposed to red Loctite Actually, I don't know if it's red or blue, but probably blue. So just in case you have to remove it again. But Loctite all the bolts, and can't really see the top ones being different because that amazing company didn't send all of the bolts it was supposed to come with. So I mean, if I'm going to make any recommendations, I'm going to say don't drill that hole. They'll give you the templates and it will tell you to drill a hole right here. Don't drill that hole. You don't need to. Just get that tab that goes down in through the little pillar here. Get it centered on that opening hole right here. And that's pretty good. That's gonna work for you. Drill that hole. They don't supply you with a bolt. Now you have an open hole, which it doesn't make any sense. It's just wonky. So the other side doesn't have a hole because I didn't realize that until afterwards, that was really unnecessary to drill that hole and put an extra hole in your bed. But yeah, I think the templates are kind of a little bit useless in my opinion. Once you cut that tab out off the top of the plastic bed line, the rail protector, slip down the RAMBAR, get that thing centered in that hole for putting that bolt in, then just go ahead and punch your holes right here with the hole punch. I mean, yeah, with like your little hole puncher. So then you know where these bolt holes are gonna go for sure. I mean, the template can just make things a little more complicated than it needs to be. Again, I started doing that in the beginning and realized that was kind of unnecessary on the reverse side. I mean, maybe someone's gonna call me out on that and say that you need to, but I did it without it, and I'm by far no engineer. I make things work. So hopefully that was helpful. I mean, it's pretty sick trick looking bar for your TRX. I think it would be cool to wrap the lettering on these and the color that he's got. Can't really see it, but let's see. They're on the tailgate too. So he had me outline all the emblems in like a gold reflective and everything basically. So that would be kind of cool to do the same for that. I'll probably make a template of that and sell those online. So if you see this and you're like, oh, I want that to whatever, match your truck or something, I'll have those online for sale. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Again, I'm no expert, but you know, I made it work and realized that parts were missing. So just hindsight, check everything, especially when it gets dropped off from a customer. Just make sure that all the parts are there. I just assumed that they were there until I was halfway through it, and it's not his fault. He just didn't get them from the company that sent him the RAMBAR. Cool. Well, hopefully that was helpful. If you got any questions or comments or whatever, just leave it down below, and maybe I'll get back to you or not. Cool. Take it easy.